And it's time now for the big question, where you get to quiz top celebrities, public figures, decision makers and sports people via GB Views. Now, Bond is officially back, as last night saw No Time to Die, the 25th Bond movie, hold its delayed world premiere in London. The film was played at the Royal Albert Hall in front of a star-studded guest list made up of Oscar winners and British royalty, including my next guest, Britt Ekland. As one of the original Bond girls, Britt became one of the most recognisable women on the planet in the 60s and 70s. She starred as the glamorous Mary Goodnight opposite Sir Roger Moore's James Bond in the 1974 film The Man with the Golden Gun, which cemented her status as an international sex symbol. Take a look.
I approve.
You do?
Oh, not the wine. Your frock. Tight in all the right places, not too many buttons.
Standard uniform for Southeast Asia. The buttons are down the back.
Designed by Q, no doubt. One of them's a suicide pill, I suppose.
No, but the bottom one has a Homer in it.
How original. A toast. Per ora.
But Britt now considers herself one of the last Bond girls in the franchise. In a recent interview, she claimed the era is over due to bosses striving to make the films politically correct. Since her starring Bond girl role, Britt has gone on to feature in countless other blockbusters, as well as I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, The Real Marigold Hotel, and now she's busy touring in The Cat and the Canary theatre show alongside pop sensation Anthony Costa and Coronation Street's Tracy Shaw. And I'm delighted Britt is here with me now for tonight's big question, as well as little Bowie, I believe this is.
She's doing her premiere today.
TV premiere.
Well, no, just here. No, she's been on every programme ever. She's easy.
I love it, I love it. Now, someone said to me, Britt, that Bowie is gender fluid. Is that right?
I said she is. She's a girly, but she doesn't know that really, so that's why her name is Bowie.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, Britt, what was it like? What was it like last night? Tell me everything about No Time to Die.
I'm not going to give anything away.
No spoilers.
I have to tell you that it is one of the most spectacular Bond films I've ever seen.
Amazing.
And it really had everything in it. One of my favourite films, apart from The Man with the Golden Gun, of course, was On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which was pretty spectacular and had a lot of emotions. This one is like 50,000 times on top of that. It has everything. And it got so... The sound, everything is so incredible. On the Albert Hall, it's like being in a different world. And it became... almost hard to be in there, like almost I had to get out for a minute.
Yeah.
But,
because it's long, isn't it? Over 2 hours, 2 hours and 3 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
But it was well worth it, and Daniel Craig was great, really great. I think he finally feels really, really comfortable being, other than, just being relaxed and cheeky and little flirtatious and... there was a lot of drinking in the film, which was kind of nice.
I like that. That's old school because, Britt, let's be honest, there had been a lot of concerns before the movie was released that Bond might be going a little bit woke.
He didn't.
That didn't happen?
No, he didn't.
Okay, excellent.
Which I can vouch for. And it was good. I mean, the whole thing was good. It was beautifully presented, and the whole evening with the red carpet and the artwork, and it was beautifully done. And
it's lovely, I guess, that you still feel like part of a Bond family. They haven't forgotten about their past.
They never do. Barbara and Michael, they are very, very welcoming, always have been. And whenever there is a really worthwhile Bond reunion, whatever it is, they always make, or if it is giving out an award or something, they always make sure that if you're available, you take part in it. Yeah, I have enjoyed many, 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 many years of Bondism.
Yeah. There's been a lot of discussion over the past few days, and actually a lot of it coming from the people who made this film, the new film, No Time to Die, about the legacy of Bond, which obviously you're a part of. But not all of it has been positive. I mean, Cary Fukunaga, who's the new director, said that the old version of Bond, and these are his words, was basically a rapist. So they've had to update him. What do you think about that Bond legacy, looking back? And do you think Bond was an example of this term they use, Britt, toxic masculinity?
I'm so old and I have lived through so many eras. We can't change the past.
No.
We can only change today. We can try to change the future, but that's also very difficult. And I think that when you go back and say this was wrong, we've got to destroy this, get rid of this, it doesn't help us today.
No.
So just, you know, unless it really disturbs you, let it be where it is and let's just do something today.
Are you sad, though, that the traditional Bond girl doesn't really exist anymore in the films? Or did you think that was a necessary change?
No, I was a little doubtful before the film, but having seen the film and having seen the magnificent roles all the females had in the film and how great they were and how great they looked as well and had great clothes, you know, all these things are important for a Bond woman. It has to change. I think, you know, I'm in a bikini and there are all these men in their suits. If that happened today, I mean, that would be an outcry. You can't be in a bikini and men in suits.
Yeah, so I guess that's the thing. It's a fine line, isn't it? They have to update Bond, but they also can't lose his legacy.
No.
Because let's be honest, Bond is a macho killer and he doesn't always act in an appropriate way, but that's because of what his job is.
Yes, of course, he's on Her Majesty's Secret Service and that's entitles him to basically do anything he wants.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not always good, but we have to acknowledge that.
Doesn't have to be good.
The other big debate about Bond, of course, Britt, is whether the next Bond, because we know this is Daniel Craig's last film, and personally I think probably Barbara Broccoli would want him to go on and on and on and on because he's been a very commercially successful Bond. He's reinvented the franchise. But we know this is his last Bond. So there has to be a new one. And there's been questions about whether that next Bond should be a female. Now, I want to play you what Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who was the writer who was brought in to contribute to this film, said when she was asked that question last night at the premiere.
No, actually, no. I think Bond is James Bond. And there'll be... You know, we just need to cook up someone to rival him.
Why don't you?
I'm going to be careful what I say.
So do you agree, Britt? Do you think James Bond should stay a male character, or do you think we could have a female James Bond?
No. There's only one James Bond, and he has to be a male. He cannot be any variety of a sex. He has to be a male, a British male. This is truly a British institution. He cannot be anything but what he is. I mean, it would be good in a way if they could go back a little bit in time. But I don't know how you deal with that. It's not my job.
Is there anyone who you think could do a good job as Bond? Any of the young actors that you've seen? Any hot tips?
But you see, I don't think that it has to be a young actor. Bond,
that's interesting.
Bond, as he's written, was in his maybe early 40s or late 40s.
Yeah.
You know, you never said 49-year-old James Bond. You never said that.
No.
He could be any age, but he has to be over 40. So young, for me, that is young, of course, but for you and for other people, 40 is not exactly
Well, no, I like that you say that because my personal choice is Idris Elba, but a lot of people have said he's too famous and too old, but going by what you've said, actually, he could work.
Anyone over 40, British, can work.
I think he'd be good. But we've got lots of questions coming in for you from our brilliant viewers, so I want to get to them now. Nina, via GBNews, asks, should Bond be masculine and seduce women? I like that side of him. I like that James Bond has moved with the times and the women are stronger now, but they should still need to be rescued. Now that's quite controversial, but obviously that's Nina. She's a woman viewer who said that. That's not a man saying that. Do you agree? Does Bond need to rescue a woman?
Well, if she is stuck on the M25,
which is very likely at the moment, Britt.
Without petrol, yes, of course he should come in his helicopter and dangle from a rope and lift her up and fly her to her destination. Unfortunately, today, not many women need rescuing. We are quite capable of a lot of things. But I think, yes, he should be able to rescue.
Adrian on Twitter asks, what was it like to work with the legendary Sir Roger Moore?
Well, Roger is exactly the way you see him in the Bond movies. He's easy, he's cheeky, he's a little flirtatious, never crosses the line, friendly, generous, and, you know, he was a good friend to me, he was a good friend to Maud, and he is everything that he looks like he should be.
Yeah, that's good to know. From Lil via GBNews, which film did you most enjoy working on with Christopher Lee? The Man with the Golden Gun or The Wicker Man? Obviously both important movies in your career, Britt.
To be perfectly honest with you, Christopher Lee was a very, very serious man, very intelligent person. You didn't joke around with Christopher Lee. You know, you did your role, you talked through it, and you rehearsed and you filmed it. We met up again in the 90s when I gave an Empire Award to him. And so we spent the evening together. And we had such a great relationship. And he wasn't at all the way he was on the film. So, you know, some people, and I'm like that in a way, you know, we get very insecure, we have to get into our roles and we don't like a lot of distraction around it. Maybe that's how he was. Both of them were the same. You know, it was the same level of work.
Yeah, indeed. Chris via GBNews asks, what would happen to Miss Moneypenny if Bond was female?
Well, if Bond was female, she would probably be asked to go and get coffee or clean up the loo or, you know, whatever Moneypenny needed at that moment, because she also works for Her Majesty. So if she couldn't do it, if she was busy on her computer or whatever future mechanisms are, she'd just say, Bond, go in and do that because I don't have the time.
Yeah, very true. Britt, tell me about you now, because you're doing this theatre tour, which sounds amazing, a great show. So you're clearly still loving acting, you still want to be on stage, you still want to keep working?
Absolutely. We started rehearsals in 2019.
No way, because this is the longest job ever.
Do you remember 2019?
No, I literally don't. I mean, it feels like a different world.
No, it does.
Feels like a different world.
We started the tour in end of January 2020, and we did about half a dozen dates.
No way.
And then our company manager called us one night, just as we are about to get on a train or in a car with our little roller bag, because the mothership, which is the bag you have all your stuff in, goes on the truck. So that stays with the theatre. And he just said, it's over.
God.
England is in lockdown. Don't go anywhere.
And where did you go? Did you stay here or did you go?
I couldn't go anywhere. And I was, of course, as I'm over 70, very vulnerable.
Yeah.
So I was told, I don't feel particularly vulnerable. I'm quite able. But we were told that we were vulnerable, we couldn't go out, we had to... lucky for me, I had a dog. So I was allowed to cross the road and walk into the park.
Yeah.
For 20 minutes a day. It was 7 weeks of terror.
And did you manage to avoid COVID? You haven't contracted?
Oh, yes. I am a mask fanatic.
Yeah.
I very much believe that if we look after ourselves and stay away when we are supposed to stay away, in the theatre, in our ensemble, we test twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday. For the Bond film, I tested on the Monday. They wanted 48 hours before. I'm double vaxxed, obviously. When we next have a gap, I will go for the booster. But I need to wait in case I get a little bit, sore arm or something. Not that I need my arms, but anyway. But it's, it's so enjoyable to be back working and to see people.
Yeah.
And to know that people take this serious and they want to go to the theatre and they do wear a mask. And
because it's been a brutal period for the entertainment industry and especially live theatre. So many people out of work, so many actual actors, having to do things like drive delivery vans just to survive. It feels like your profession, Britt, or your industry was treated pretty badly. It was almost like the forgotten industry over the course of the pandemic.
Because even during the good times, being an actor is not really supposed to be a serious profession.
Yeah.
And it's never really been considered a serious profession.
Which is completely wrong because it's one of our biggest exports.
Of course.
It means so much to people. I know for me, my goodness, I was so emotional when I got back into the theatre because I had missed it so much.
Yeah.
But for you, it's your lifeblood.
That's how I pay the mortgage.
Indeed. Well, thank goodness you're back. You're back on the road. So where is it touring? Where can we see you?
Next week we'll be at Alexandra in Birmingham.
Yep.
And then we are going to Brighton, Theatre Royal. I'm trying to think off my top of my head. Bromley, Manchester Opera House.
Amazing. Well, I presume the Cat and Canary people can find out all of the details online.
Just Google
That's what you
Bill
do now.
Kenwright Productions and you'll find out everything.
Well, Britt Ekland, you remain a Bond legend. It was so brilliant to see you there this week.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for joining us
Thank
tonight
you.
for the big question. And Bowie, too.
And Bowie?
Gender fluid. The first gender fluid dog that I've met. I will say that. Thank you so much, Britt Ekland.